Finlay Birnie, candidate number 6029.
Sam Halsey-Jones, candidate number 6098.
George Strivens, candidate number 6222.
Oliver Musto, candidate number 6163.
In what ways does your media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products?
We used the match on action technique that was used in lots of different films to illustrate a smooth transition between locations, like moving into a different room through a door. And we also chose really carefully what to include in all the shots. For example, when the antagonist is sitting down by the window, we include lots of bits of scrunched up paper to show that he's a perfectionist and he's made lots of attempts at writing a note we see later on in the film.
How does your media product represent particular social groups?
Through developing the character of the antagonist, we try to express how an ordinary person can do evil things, unlike everyone else. Our protagonist is a strong female character, which works against the traditional conventions, although this has become almost the norm recently. She is the binary opposite to our antagonist, who is a weaker, more insecure male. What kind of media institution might distribute your media product, and why?
Well, seeing as it's a first-time film and such a specific genre, we'd be more inclined to show it in smaller cinemas that are more prepared to show lower-budget films. Who would be the audience for your media product?
Our audience would be a small group of people who enjoy a particular genre of films, namely thriller and suspense movies like Rear Window. In a large age demographic from teen up to the pensioners who first enjoyed these kind of films back in the day.
How did you attract and address your audience?
Well, the beginning of our film has a very bleak and eerie atmosphere, and we tried to use this to attract fans of suspense and thriller genres, and sort of give them a sense of what the films will continue to be like. And we also tried to build suspense using the music, which we thought was fitting quite well to the panning shot we used, and we thought it would build suspense and tension, and sort of build up to a climax, which I think we achieved.
What have you learnt about technologies on the process of conducting this product?
When we first did the film, we had no storyboard or script, so we found it very hard to create the film. But when we did it a second time, we drew up a detailed storyboard and thought more about the framing and the significance of the shots we were using. We learned that if we didn't utilise everything we had available to us, it became difficult to meet all deadlines, so we've taken advantage of the equipment we have by using some varied camera angles and sound.
Looking back at your preliminary task, what do you feel you have learned in the progression from it to the full product?
Firstly, we use a variety of framing. In our prelim task, people's heads were being cut off by the edge of the frame, whilst in our main task we used framing to capture everything that is necessary in the shot, for example choosing to include small things that have an effect or meaning, such as the scrumpled up notes which suggest to the audience that the antagonist's actions are premeditated. Secondly, we used a variety of camera shots. In the prelim we had some unusual angle shots but absolutely no reason for them. In our main task we had a shot of the antagonist looking through a glass window. This was done to illustrate the separation between the protagonist and the antagonist. We also had a shot such as the close-up on his feet highlighting his journey, and the match on action shot which also takes the antagonist from light to dark, which was done to signify the inner workings of his mind. In our prelim task we did not think about sound at all, whilst in our main task it was something that we carefully planned. The sound in our film is both diegetic and non-diegetic. For the first half of the film the sound is mainly diegetic, apart from the heartbeats which are clearly non-diegetic. When the antagonist presses play on the CD player, music begins to play. This music is non-diegetic, but the action of pressing play suggests the audience that it is diegetic, and originally the plan was to have it diegetic, but to be honest the quality of an old CD player through the camera wasn't at all satisfying. Plus having the music in a non-diegetic form means it can be played across the other shots easily, which it wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. And finally, continuity editing. In our prelim task we had some slight changes of position of characters and a dodgy match on action shot, whereas in our main task we had a decent match on action shot compared to our prelim task, but the distance the couple walk in the film is unrealistic. To be honest, it could have been worked on. But overall, we all feel that this film has been a successful process in which we have all played our part. From all of us here, goodbye and thank you for listening.